Hobbies fans, backstage here tonight in Hollywood, Florida with the big winner, Susan Tomahawk Townsel. You look pretty good tonight. Let's talk about that fight, sir.
It was an amazing fight with an amazing opponent. A lot of hard work went into this one. I'm coming off some broken hands, a little bit of a layoff. My coach and I went into the pit, came out with a little bit of boxing, working our distance, working our orthodox stances. Put some things together, and it all turned out really well and in my benefit tonight.
All right, so as I recall, TKO in the fourth round, huh?
TKO in the fourth round. Spent the first couple rounds picking him apart, figuring him out. I know he's super aggressive. I was popping that jab, switching stances back and forth from orthodox, caught him with a couple uppercuts, sat him down once, almost got beside myself and became a brawler again, but we slowed it back down. Coach said in the corner, take your time, box, let's box, and that's just what we did.
You know, you bring up a very good point because your opponent came out very aggressive in the early rounds. What are the things that you have to do to handle the pressure?
I knew he was going to be aggressive. He's a very explosive fighter, a very forward fighter, a very tough guy. I knew from my experience with my hands and you know, this being my 8th bare knuckle fight, you know, I don't have to brawl with these guys. I can box with them because that's what this is, bare knuckle boxing, bare knuckle fighting. And when you're dealing with a boxer, it doesn't have to be some wild show. It's a little more tactical.
Tell us how you specifically prepared training-wise for this fighter.
Worked a lot on my footwork, a lot on switching stances. I'm an actual right-handed southpaw. I know you knew that.
I know that.
Ask that question. So I fight southpaw, but I'm a right-handed guy. So we worked a lot on switching that stance, getting a little bit lower. He's shorter than me. Try to lift him up with that uppercut so I can touch him with the straight two.
I'm not sure if anybody else has that skill. It really is interesting because it makes your movement and the switching stances really difficult for an opponent to combat.
Like I said, this is my 8th bare knuckle fight. You know, I've been learning each and every time. If you've watched my fights, I'm continuously growing. I want to continuously get better. I want to evolve as an overall fighter. So that stance switch is going to be something a little more into my arsenal. Everyone's worried about my southpaw and my overhand left, but now you got to worry about both of them.
Speaking of skill set, we go back to, I think I was a brunette, and you were, I don't remember what hair color you were, but you're talking about your skill set. How have you changed skill set-wise since you first started in BKFC, do you think?
A lot. I was I'll take a punch to give a punch. I was definitely a more of a brawler stance. I wasn't a fighter yet, I was a brawler. I've slowly become a fighter, and now I'm becoming a boxer, a bare knuckle boxer though, so there is a difference. So with each and every fight, like I said, we're just taking a little bit away from the last one and we're getting better.
And you know, fight fans, that is such an important aspect of the game, which Steven just mentioned, because bare knuckle is so different. It's so strategic. You really have to kind of plan out in your head how you're going to attack your opponent, because if you hit your hand on his chest too early, you break your hand. Speaking of breaking hands, rumor has it you broke another set tonight. When did that happen?
Oh man, so yeah, I'm coming off of 2 fights where I broke in my hands. We did it again on this one. I broke the left in the 2nd round, and then I broke my right coming into the 4th round, throwing a straight 2. I was able to keep working. I was able to keep pumping that jab, just being super fast, super sharp, and was able to finish the fight out.
How the F are you able to fight through that? I mean, do you feel the pain and just ignore it, or when does it hit you that you actually have broken your hand? During the fight or after the fight is over?
It hits it during the fight. I knew it happened. I told him in the corner. We just kept working. I lost my last fight. I wasn't able to finish because I broke both my hands. I have a really sour taste, man, in my mouth from it, and I told myself that I wasn't going to let that happen again. We were going to fight with bloody stumps if we had to, and we got the job done in the 4th, so it worked out for us.
But, and I hate to bring up bad news, I didn't do a pre-fight interview with you on that because I didn't want to talk about the fact that you have broken your hands many times. How many times have you broken your hands now?
The past 3 fights they've been broken. I think out of 8, I've broken 4. The thing is, listen, I'm never going to throw a punch like it's a baby punch. I'm never going to patty cake with you. I'm throwing punches with ill intent. I'm trying to get you out of there. That's never going to change. So I'm probably going to keep breaking my hands, and it's okay. You know, that's price of admission.
It's making me squeamish. What are the other opportunities you saw tonight that you were able to take advantage of during the fight?
He drops his head a lot. I knew that was going to happen. I knew he was going to come in with his overhands. It was setting myself up for those uppercuts. Really quick little up jabs from weird angles. Really worked out for me tonight. And it just opened up the further we went along through that. I also know that he must have injured his shoulder again in the first round. So he wasn't throwing that front left as much as he normally does. So that kind of opened up a lot for me too. Jeremy's tough as nails, tough as they come for sure.
And he's coached by a dear friend of mine, Coach Billy Patton. Shout out to you, my friend.
Billy is the man.
Billy, we love you. Coach Billy from Philly.
Love you, Coach.
I wanted to ask you then, do you feel that because fighters, your opponents, know that you have injured your hand, that gives them a big advantage in the fight?
I think it does to an extent. He did it this fight, you know, he lowered his forehead, he knew what he was doing, he lowered it so I would catch him in the top of his head. Man, that's strategical, that's smart. Leo did it to me too, that's a strategy now, this is bare knuckle. So yeah, I think if you don't take advantage of your opponent's weaknesses, you're not trying hard enough.
Looking back at your BKFC career, what do you think was the turning point for you when you felt like you have just told us a real bare knuckle fighter?
Listen, my very first BKFC fight, I fought in Knuckle Mania 2, and I fought against a champion in Gustavo Trujillo. All right, this is the first time I've ever been knocked out in my entire career. For most people, it's the most horrible thing that can happen to you in a fight, but it's the best thing that absolutely has ever happened to me while I fought. It gave me the opportunity to know that this is what I want to do. When most people get knocked down, they have the opportunity to quit. I knew right at that moment that I wasn't going to quit, that I was going to push harder, and I was going to come through, and here I am. 4 more fights later, still banging it out, still on top of the heap. So
snapping a 2-fight losing streak as well. We love that. All right, we have very, very, very important questions that the fans want to know now. What advice would you give to someone who wants to be a bare knuckle fighter?
Find a gym. Find a gym and start. The longer you sit and say you're going to do something is the further away it's going to be. So if you want to do something, find a gym tomorrow. Find a gym tomorrow, get you a pair of gloves the next day. It won't happen until you start. It's all about getting it started and keeping that thing rolling.
What is the most difficult aspect of being a bare knuckle fighter, do you think?
Not having the heart for it. Yeah. You know, this is not MMA, this is not boxing, this is the real deal. You know, you got guys getting punched on bone. You know, you got to be prepared for that. It is price of admission. If you know it's going to happen and you're accepting it before it happens, then you're good. But if you're stepping off in there and you're tiptoeing, you're liable to get caught because you're second guessing yourself. You know, this isn't a game of second guessing. This is a game of confidence and working forward. It's okay to lose. Just don't stay lost.
And that's another interesting point because so much of the fight is mental. What do you like backstage? Because I had a chance to corner Yuli Diaz. Thank you, Yuli. I love you for that. Yuli, we love you. What is it like for you to be backstage waiting to fight? What goes through your mind?
Believe it or not, man, I've had quite a bit of fights now. I'm super calm right now when I listen to some music, move around a little bit. I try to remain calm. If I'm early in the card, it works out to my benefit. That means I get to get my fight over with, and then it's all said and done. If the longer I wait, the more I got to think about things. It does get to me a little bit, but I've gotten to the point where this is home. I feel the most at home here. This is my favorite place, and I really do my best to live in the moment.
What about your secret talent? What is your secret talent?
I sing in the shower, or I moan a little bit in the shower, but it's all the same. I'm not your next American Idol, but but I get down with the get down.
All right, what is the genre? Jazz, blues, rock and roll?
A little bit of everything, man. I'm a little bit of hip hop, you know, a little bit of pop, you know, it's whatever we got going on at the time.
How about those dance moves? Can you match Brian Durant's?
The only dance moves I got going on are inside the ring.
Also, what do you do in your free time? You have how many girls now? 4 or 3?
I just got 5 now, so I like plants. I like outside. We do a lot of gardening, man. My girls love birds and butterflies, and I know that don't sound like something a big tough guy should do, but I really like the outdoors. flowers are beautiful. My kids love them, and it's something that I enjoy doing with them.
See, that's so interesting. You know, this is my goal here, to educate the fans that, well, behind every fighter is a story. That's very unexpected. I bet all our fans would probably not have thought that.
Not at all. But
What else? What do you grow though? Because you know what, my green thumb looks like this. Plastic in the house. That's my green thumb. What's your green thumb look like?
I've got a degree. I've got an associate degree in horticulture. You know what I mean? I live in Florida. It's one of the few things they never going nowhere. Before I actually fought, you know, I was out there doing landscape, dealing with plants and dealing with grass and turf and everything else. So it kind of just fell into place as soon as I, you know, with my girls and all.
Who do you want next?
I'm gonna call out the real champ, Lorenzo. I know you ain't been around, brother. You're still the best to me. I want all the best. Houston Alexander, man, it would be an honor to share the ring with you. Also, man, Chris Camozzi and DP. I'm not going to count DP out or Chris Camozzi. I'm looking forward to seeing who's got that fight. But look, I'm working on the Tomahawk legacy, so I want the big fights.
And you know what? You are setting such a great example for your girls. You know, I do this too, and it always makes you cry, but I gotta do it because it's all for the girls. Let's give a special shout out to your girls because I think you should.
Isabella, Stevie, Cheyenne, Victoria, and Amelia. Daddy loves you. Remember that.
And who knew that you were a garter as well?
Right?
Lucky you.
Hey.
All right. So, before we go tonight, friends, family, sponsors you'd like to thank besides your girls, of course.
My coach, I like to thank my coach and my team that we've worked really hard on this camp, Coach Byron Zamora. We've really changed my fighting into being a boxer. It's come a long way. I owe a lot to them. You guys see us out there putting in the work, but the real work is in the gym, watching me die, making me get better, because without them, there would be no Tomahawk. So my coaching and my training partners, definitely Rudy Black Widow, him as well. My wife for keeping me fed and keeping me on track, as well as my sponsors. Man, I got so many sponsors. I'm gonna forget, but I promise you, I love each and every one of you, and without you, I couldn't be here. So I really appreciate you.
All right, friends, don't forget to subscribe and leave me a comment below so we can answer all your burning questions with all our fighters backstage. All right, you know it's time for this right now. You know this joke. So for Bare Knuckle News, I'm Susan Cingari, and this is
Tomahawk.
And remember, fight fans. I mean, remember, no one beats us to the punch.